you're going to see him go into the pile and get hit, but nobody wraps him up, so he spins out to his right. Stampeders lose contain. You see the speed of Dedmon outrunning that angle. And the Calgary Stampeders, who have had some concerns in terms of their kickoff coverage this season, have reason to worry with this start provided by Dedmon. I think darn near every member of the Calgary Stampeders got hands on him on this one. Wrapped up, gets a hand down to keep his balance. It's a little bit like his opening kickoff return in this ball game.
Tore it up, now shout loving me. Hey, I done braided it up and now she fuck with me. Now she wanna make a baby, now she want me stuck.
So here's DeVonte Dedmon, Ottawa Redblacks receiver and return specialist. Although you can call him a professional athlete today, he had 22 full years of experience before his CFL career took off. Growing up in Williamsburg, Virginia, what was your childhood like?
It was great. My parents always had us in every sport. All my friends either played football, basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever it was. We always got involved in it. My brother was a better basketball player than me at one point, and it pushed me to be better. And then my dad was like, "Why don't y'all try football?" And gave it a try. My first year, I was a offensive lineman, surprisingly, and then I played defensive line the same year. And after that, I just took off.
How many sports did you play as a kid, and when did you start?
I started playing basketball and football when I was 6. That was a wild experience. Having my dad as my coach in basketball was fun. Football, I was 6 as well, and that was different. It just was me playing with my friends, so that's what it started off as. It was never like, I want to do this. It was just, I want to be with my friends, and I just loved it ever since.
What is your favorite childhood memory playing sports?
Favorite childhood memory? Probably winning the Youth League Super Bowl. I think it was 2002 or 2004, one of them. We went to the Super Bowl the year before, lost on the last play of the game, and then the following year we came back, played one of the best games I've ever had as a youth player, and we won the Super Bowl.
What sport were you the best at growing up?
If you ask my friends, they'll tell you basketball. I fell in love with it from the jump. All the Allen Iverson, D-Wade, that was it for me. I just loved being on the court. It just felt at home for me.
Growing up, how important was staying in sports for you?
Staying in sports for real kept us out of trouble. It was more of, what are we gonna do after school? It was, hey, we're gonna meet here. We're gonna play basketball. We're gonna play one-on-one, play King of the Hill, like that kind of thing every day.
In high school and years before then, you didn't play receiver as you do now in the CFL. You actually played quarterback and running back, and as you mentioned, offensive line. What was that like to play those positions?
Quarterback was, for me, it was easy for me. It was like playing point guard on the basketball court, so it was more natural for me. Running back, I was just so fast that they just gave me the ball and I just weed through people and just run as fast as I could. That was all I did. My brother really pushed me to be who I am today. Even though he's my younger brother, it was like, I didn't want to lose to him, so there was plenty of times where my dad would have us in the backyard doing drills, and he would be the quarterback, and my brother played defensive back. So dealing with that every day after school, different drills, it definitely pushed me to be a better player.
All right, so you're DeVonte's brother. You grew up in the same house and shared a lot of memories together. What was your relationship growing up, and what is it like now, too?
I always looked up to my brother. Always had a good role model in him. Sports and just being a man, everyday kind of stuff. Sports, I really looked up to him because he was really good. He's probably the best player I've ever played with or even seen, so I always looked up to him.
Your relationship with DeVonte only got better through sports. You guys have a lot of competitions, I've heard, on the streets. And,
I would say that my brother, he would say that he probably the best receiver, but I would say that I could guard him any day. But he probably wouldn't say that. I don't know.
You still think you could guard him?
I still think I could today, yeah, of course.
What was the times like when you both competed against each other?
It's bad. Like, competitive, very competitive. Like, we go at it, fight, throw balls at each other. But it was always fun, though. There was never nothing that brought us apart.
Along with competing, you guys also got to play together in high school. What was that like to play with you?
It was good because regardless of if we was winning or losing, I always had my brother to go to. Every time I was on the field, I was with my brother. So it was always someone I could look up to and someone I could talk to regardless of what was going on the field.
Not only did you guys play together, but DeVonte threw his last touchdown pass to you, I've heard. What was that like to have that stat?
It's probably one of the best moments of high school. Didn't score that many touchdowns with him because he was mostly hurt, but having that moment in my memories will always be good.
Going through your childhood and even your teenage years, what was your favorite memory to be of DeVonte?
Middle school, when we won the championship, we went undefeated. So that was probably the greatest feeling that I had with him. High school, we didn't win that much, so it couldn't be that much achievements, really. But
now that you've played with him and you've competed against him a lot, he's now in the CFL. What's that like to see your brother play on TV?
it's great to turn on ESPN and see my brother. Never thought he'd be on TV or actually see it with my eyes. I would say that it's just a step for him. Definitely CFL is good, but I think my brother's potentially good enough to be in the NFL.
Why do you think that?
Just seeing him, man. Like, it's obviously, like, with players in the NFL, they just special. You could just tell there's something special in them. So I just think he has what it takes to be in the NFL.
Those competitions helped both of you get better, and it helped you get to William and Mary. Could you tell me a little bit about the recruitment process going to William and Mary?
The process was it was unlike any, honestly. I fell in love with William and Mary from the jump. I started going to their football camp when I was 8 years old, and I was around the coaching staff since being 8. And when I forgot my scholarship, I remember looking at my mom and just start crying, and it was like a dream come true. Not having to pay for college is like huge these days, and just getting education for William and Mary was top of the bar.
You came to William and Mary as a receiver, but you played quarterback your entire life before that, as I mentioned. What was that like to change positions at that level?
That summer, it was me watching videos of like Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, like those kind of things. We had a guy on our team, Trey McBride. He's actually in the NFL now. And that summer, I took a lot of watching him just running through routes, and also Jack Armstrong is one of my best friends to this day. They really helped me through the adjustment period and understanding that it's not all about speed, it's about technique as well.
Your transition to wideout went really well. You went through a solid career at William and Mary. Could you tell me a little bit about your experience at William and Mary?
William and Mary brought me a lot of brothers. We always preach family. I've always wanted to be a part of the tribe. My cousin played for William and Mary. I remember my dad talking about plenty of times when Mike Tomlin played. It's always been tradition there. It's family. Coach Laycock has always been in my corner since day one. So I knew when I got that scholarship, that was it for me.
Of the time you spent at William and Mary, what would be a few of your favorite memories that you have there?
On the field would have to be beating JMU on Halloween. After we beat them, I think they were number 2 in the country at that point. They wore this all-white uniform. We started 14. We're down 14-0 to start the game. Came back, won. It was like a high-scoring game. We scored on the last drive. Go in the locker room, and Coach Laycock has on a kiss mask, and that was like the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Off the field had to be like just spending time with my teammates, man. Like, they were great. They helped me get through a lot in my career. Got a lot of friends. A lot of friends helped me just shape me into who I am today.
Throughout your college career, you were able to accomplish a lot. Whatever it was, winning a conference or even just getting to know players on the team or breaking records, what would be your favorite accomplishment like in your college career that you're most proud of?
Proud of? It would have to be winning a conference. Like, it was 3-way tie, but we worked hard that summer, and we told ourselves like we weren't gonna settle for anything. And I remember the bonding experience I had with my quarterback that year. He was trying to be a pilot, so I would go on flights with him like everywhere. It was just a great bonding experience that year.
Could you tell me about like the relationships you built at William & Mary?
Yeah, man, it was like I gained more brothers. Like I have a little brother now, but I have 60 plus brothers right now. Just every day. I just talked to one the other day, and it just made me upset because I'm like, dang, man. Like I remember me and him staying in my college house. We had no furniture at this point. We just moved in. We were just happy to have a crib, and we're sleeping in sleeping bags because our furniture hadn't came in yet. So just those type of bonding experiences really help you grow as a man, and I would never change it for the world.
The accomplishments you have in college might be in the record books and on trophies, but the biggest things would have to be like the memories you built with the people. Was there like a certain like part of your college career that you think helped your relationships be?
Yeah, so I think it was my junior year, my father got sick, like really sick, and I was really down. And just the bond of all the guys, like having my back, like checking on me every day. Because I would go to workouts 4:45 in the morning, and then leave there, go be with my dad for the day. And I couldn't thank those guys enough because it definitely helped me get through that situation.
At William & Mary, you had a lot of relationships, as I mentioned. You also had the chance to play with a lot of great players. A group of them went to the NFL, Trey McBride, as you mentioned. What was it like to see those guys go to the NFL and you had like relationships?
To me, it wasn't like what happened on game day. It was always in practice. I watched DeAndre Houston Carson play DB. I've seen him run routes for receivers at defensive back. And seeing that, I'm like, wow, this guy is so patient. And not even guys that went to the league, but also guys that like they didn't have the opportunity. But Trey Reed was one of the best corners I've ever seen. Him and Ray Smith, guys that I talk to every day, and just try to focus on different techniques. How can I beat you here? What release could I use here to better my route? So I appreciate those guys every day. Honestly, they got me to where I am.
So those guys went to the NFL. You took a different route. You went to the CFL to play with the Ottawa Redblacks. What was that like to get signed by a team?
It was crazy. I was actually sitting with one of my best friends, Corey Parker, and I got a call. And I'm like, this is graduation week. So I'm just like, I'm hanging out, chilling, and I got the call, and I'm like, hey, Corey, I'm going to CFL. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. So we started doing all our research, like 12 people on the field, like trying to like get comfortable with the rules and everything like that. And then I remember Coach October was there, and I was like, oh wow. And then me and him talked on the phone for like 2 hours, just chatting, just talking about everything. And I'm blessed that Ottawa gave me the opportunity.
Ahead of your time there, you mentioned that you went through a lot of research to know what the league was. Did you know of like people in the league other than Coach October?
Yeah, I played college football against RJ Harris, and RJ's my guy, man. Like we played up. I remember my freshman year, we went up there, and all week long in practice, we're like, we got to stop RJ Harris. We got to stop RJ Harris. This guy goes for 175 yards in the first half. Like, there's really nothing we could have done at that point. But I knew RJ, I knew a couple other guys up there, and they definitely welcomed me in. I remember the first day just sitting there quiet, and I was just shy. And they got me out of my shell, and like, I appreciate it.
So you didn't know much about the league itself, but the league began to know what you were all about. After the first preseason game, you had a 100-yard kick return touchdown. What was that like to score a touchdown in your first game?
I remember the week leading up, I was talking to J Rose, him and Sherrod, and I'm like, bro, I just need one chance, man. I'm gonna take it back. And I could see it in J Rose's eyes. He was like, yeah, you got it, you can do it. And I'm like, all right, I got it. So when it was my opportunity, they gave me that third quarter kick return. And I remember Juice walking out there. He was like, bro, I got you. And he made that block on that kicker. And they always tell me I got to make one guy miss. And I made the guy miss and got in the end zone.
So after that, you got hurt. And then you were also brought back after that. What was that like to know that the team still wanted you on the team, even though that you were hurt?
When I got hurt, it was like disappointing, very disappointing, because I wanted it so bad, and I just felt like a failure at one point. And talking to Brad Sinopoulos, Sherrod, J Rose, RJ, Dom Davis, Dom Rhymes, like they all told me, they're like, bro, you're good, man. Like you showed what you got. When you get healthy, they'll bring you back. And same thing from everybody in the front office. They all said the same thing. They're like, we're not sending you home. We want you to get healthy and bring you back. And hearing that really made me feel good on that plane ride home.
So they told you that, and you did come back, but you were able to play a lot of games before and after, I guess. How excited were you to play in those games with Ottawa?
That first game, Winnipeg, I was, yeah, man. That's one thing about me. I always like get a little nervous before games, but I was throwing up before the game, and I remember Dom looked at me. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm good." And I go out there. I walk out on the field, and I'm just looking around because I haven't been in a stadium like that ever. Like I'm looking around, like, what is this? And I see Lucky Whitehead across the field, and my dad and my brother, they're huge Cowboy fans. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm starstruck. I'm like, oh, no, not this too, not on top of that. But Coach O came up to me and he was like, relax, do what you always do. And I played well. I made a few mistakes, but the rest of it happens.
What was that like to be on that professional stage for your first career start?
I cried during the national anthem. Like, it was not just for me, it was like for everybody here back home. It was like everybody's that weren't able to come see me play. It was from the youth coaches to my middle school coaches, high school coaches, the people that aren't here. It was for all of them. It wasn't just for me. It just, the emotion just took over me.
So after a few games, you got to play against Montreal. That's where your name became the biggest name in pretty much Ottawa for a few weeks. What was that like to be able to play and score 2 kick return touchdowns?
I remember that week, Coach Dice came up to me and he was just like, I put in this return. And I'm like, all right, like, I'm down. Like, I love it. Like, anyone knows, like, I smile a lot on the field. Like, I just love being out there. And when he called it, I was like, wow, let's get it. Like, I'm ready. Because my first kick return, I was a step away. I felt it. I was like, oh, I'm close. And then he changed the return, and I'm like, all right, it's go time. I went up to Don Rhymes before. I was like, it's this one. Let's get it. And John Crockett led the way, met me in the end zone, him and Knox. And that first one was a lot because Boris was talking trash to me in preseason, and I didn't forget it. I came home, and I told my dad, I was like, this one punter just kept talking to me the whole game, and it got to me a little bit, but I got out of character in that game. And the second one, the punt return, it was just great for like C-Ran starting it for me with that block to start it. And I don't know what came over me, man. Like it was just try to get in the end zone. Don't let anyone stop you. And I just feel like everybody back home was with me on that run.
The blocks were good, but you went through, 7 guys? And you made Sports Center and everything. What was that like to be able to see yourself on the internet for like 3 weeks?
It was cool, and then it was like, all right, because now I got a bigger target on my back. So for me, it was just like, I didn't even know I was on Sports Center until my boys hit me up back home. They put it in the group chat. They're like, yo, you're #1 on Sports Center. And I was like, what? And my mom called me and like just telling me like how happy and proud she was of me, and just hearing my dad tell me that like definitely like hit home. So at that point, I just knew I had to come back next week and try to play as hard as I could.
That play might have been one of the biggest plays of your career so far, and you were looked on to be Pinball 2.0 because Pinball, as the nickname is, he bounced off players. What was that like to be in those talks?
Just to be in a conversation with someone that went to the same college as I did. I remember seeing his picture on the wall on the timeline, and I'm like, this guy was a dog, man. Like nobody could stop him. And then finally meeting him when we played Toronto, it was just like, just seeing his smile is so warming. It was just like, it was a great experience. like I told him, I just hope one day I can be half the player he was. So I'm just gonna keep going every day.
As mentioned, you had a lot of big plays in year one. And as we come back to the CFL season in just a few months, what do you look forward to most about coming back to Ottawa?
The fans, man, it's nothing like it. Just how supportive they've always been of me, even when I was hurt. Just they're constant. We're praying for you. Get healthy. Like, we need you. Like, that kind of stuff. There, like, you might not think a lot about it, but I do. Like, when I'm in therapy, like training, I'm like, yeah, I gotta do this not for me, but for the fans as well. So this off season, I've been really working hard, man. Cardio, muscle endurance, like doing everything I can. Yoga, cycling classes. I'm doing everything I can just to make sure my legs are there, and I'm gonna be all right.
All right, so last year you had a lot of big plays, but you also got to meet a lot of new players and coaches. What was that like to build new relationships professionally?
It was great, man. Like, you always, like, for me, I've always said, like, there's nothing like that high school teammate, that high school team in general. It's like nothing like it. But that first year, man, it was great. Just bonding with everybody from all these different schools and across the country, just across the world. It was just amazing. That training camp was just amazing to me.
Last year, it was your first time going away from home to play a professional sport. For college, you went to William & Mary, which is just down the road, I guess. And what was it like to come so far to Canada?
I didn't have a passport to begin with. My agent called me and he's like, hey, I scheduled an appointment in DC for the passport. And I'm like, I don't know what I need. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go ahead and get this picture and see what I can do. And me and my dad drove up there early in the morning, tried to find parking, $36 for 2-hour parking. Whoa. So, like, it was a good experience. It was hard at first, being away from home, not being able to call my mom when I wanted to. Like, I know that sounds like little kid stuff, but like, it was just different, man. Like, when I was in college, I used to see my parents every weekend. They came to all my games, and then this past year they weren't able to do that. So it was just like, dang, like, it's kind of different for me. But I was always getting calls before games, after games, just making sure I'm okay. So it was good.
What did you miss most about being at home?
Probably just seeing my friends, man. It was like, we would always group FaceTime. So, like, that was that, and Snapchat, group chat. Like, I just felt like they were always with me whenever I was somewhere else, because I would always take pictures of wherever I was and send it to them. Like, yo, I'm in a mall that has a water park in it. We would never thought we'd see something like this, but it was great, man. Like, this year they all got passports, so they're gonna make the trip to come see me, and I'm excited. Yeah. When I'm playing, dang. I just think I'm electric. That's what my coach was saying in college. He was like, bro, you can make anything happen when the ball's in your hand. But last year for me was more of a learning experience. Like, I didn't know anything about, like I said, I didn't know anything about the CFL. Like, I didn't understand the waggle. I didn't understand all the running that was involved. So now that I understand it, I've been really, this offseason, trying to focus on it.
What can the Ottawa Redblacks fans expect from you in 2020?
They can expect a more disciplined player. I understand my body now. I'm trying to get accustomed to this new offense. I'm excited to get started, man. Like, I keep telling everybody, all my teammates around here in Williamsburg, I'm like, bro, like, y'all haven't seen anything yet, man. Like, when y'all come up, y'all gonna see what a real team is like. And I felt like it. Towards the end of the year, we started getting closer. We just weren't winning games, but we were a close-knit group, and that goes a long way. And I'm excited. Nobody ever quit.
So last year, the Redblacks fans cheered you on a lot, and they're going to in 2020. But when I texted back and forth with you, you said you want to be a coach. They might be cheering you on as a coach. What do you have to say about that, wanting to be a coach?
Yeah, when it's all said and done, I would love to get in coaching, man. Like, my coach Jerry Taylor, he was my wide receiver coach my senior year, and he's at Columbia now. I texted him maybe 2 months ago. I was like, bro, like, me and him were so close. I was like, bro, I really want to get into coaching. He was like, I could definitely see you doing it. Just because of the way, like, you can mold a person. Like, you could be a positive influence that they need in their life. And I had a lot of coaches like that in high school that kept a lot of guys, like, out of trouble. And I feel like I could be that person to mentor someone to do positive things in life.
Before becoming a coach, you have a long next year ahead of you and possibly more years too. And the Red Blacks fans have compared you to former Red Black Deontay Spencer, who is now with the Denver Broncos. What's that like to be in those conversations?
I remember the first time I got the call from the Ottawa Redblacks, I searched it and Deontay's picture popped up. Him and Brad Sinopoli. And to just be in a conversation with him, I'm honored. He's a great player. He was a great player in the CFL, and he's a great player in the NFL now. And I hope to be able to produce at least what he did years back. But I would love to keep contact him and just talk to him and just figure out like what I could work on as a player.
2 punt return touchdowns in Montreal. And if you had another punt return touchdown or kick return touchdown this coming year, and you could pick the song that goes on the Jumbotron and everything throughout the stadium.
Ooh, what song? Man, that'd be hard. That would be really hard. Nah. Whenever I'm driving and it's sunny outside, I throw that ball in by DJ Mustard. You know what I'm talking about? That is my jam. I'll go crazy. Yeah, that's my song.
I put the new 4Gs on the G. I trap into the bloody bottoms is underneath. Cause all my niggas got it out the streets. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember hitting them all with the whole team. Now a nigga can't answer calls cause I'm balling. I was waking up getting racks in the morning. I was broke, now I'm rich, these niggas salty. All this designer on my body got me drip, drip. Hey, straight up out the objects, I'm a big crip. If I got up on a lean, I'ma sip, sip. I run the racks up with my queen like London and Nip. But I got rich on all these niggas, I didn't forget back. I had to go through the struggle, I didn't forget that. I hopped inside of the Maybach and now I can sit back. These bitches know me now, cause I got them big racks. Cause I'm getting money now, I know you heard that. Young nigga on the corner, bitch, I had to serve crack. Uncle fronted me some peas, had to get them birds back. We came up on dirty money, I gave it a bird back. Cut off the brain and I gave my bitch a new goof. Either you running y'all gang or you Subaru. Got a New Orleans bitch, and man, that pussy voodoo. And I'm that nigga now, who knew? I put the new 4Gs on the G.
If you're stranded on an island and you could choose 3 items to have with you, what are you bringing with you?
Stranded on the island and I need 3 things. It would probably be. Could I have my phone? Yeah, I'll have my phone.
I guess you could have data.
Yeah. I would have my phone, a football. Third one. Probably a picture of my family, honestly. Because I know if I look at that, I'll be like, I can get through this. I can get through it.
Can you draw the Ottawa Redblacks logo? I'm just gonna hide these 2. Oh wait. Gotta hide the logos. Yeah, but he can't look at his shirt. It's already better than Michael Wakefield's.
Trying, man. You see me.
My feet expanded, my fingertips went.
You know, you gotta put some accents in there to get the color out, make the color pop. Man, shade and sand, you know.
Yeah, you definitely let us know when you're coming out. Like, let me know. And maybe we can get that seat and sit with us. 'Cause, yeah, it's great.
All right.
What you think, man?
Can you draw yourself on the football field?
Yeah, I guess so. You gotta be this one.
How did you guys meet? Okay.
This is all the bloopers of the thing.
I'm gonna give myself a dark visor. Yeah, give myself a dark visor. So I got that dark face. Bro, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna just.
I feel like you're just drawing now.
Yeah, I'm just sketching. Yeah, you got me sweating, bro. That's how you know this is hard. I just look. My shoulder pads. This is horrible, dog.
There you go. All right, that's all you have to draw.
Fuck it, where your head? I ain't even tryna hit. All my cars fast, I ain't even try to dip. I ain't no Dorito type of nigga, I stack chips. Ain't no pussy eating type of nigga, you ain't dip.